Welcome. And in this video, we are going to discuss about the Delhi Sultanate, the Mughal Empire, etc. So these are the major discussion topics in this particular video: the Delhi Sultanate, the Battle of Panipat, and the Mughal Empire. Very important events or the rule happened during the medieval India. So because till now we were discussing about the ancient India, now we have actually entered into the medieval phase. Okay, these are the important events that happened during the medieval phase. So let us understand what is the Delhi Sultanate, or what do you mean by the Battle of Panipat, and then the Mughal Empire. Let us understand that. So Delhi Sultanate. Okay, Delhi Sultanate. If you look at the time period of Delhi Sultanate, you can see that 1206 CE to 1526 CE is the time period of Delhi Sultanate. So more than 300 years you will be able to see here, right? So this Delhi Sultanate time period, if you look at, it's more than 300 years. Okay, of time is there when we are actually looking at the Delhi Sultanate. So after the death of Mahmud Ghori, Qutbuddin Aibak ascended throne and started slave dynasty. So that is the first dynasty that is happening in the Delhi Sultanate. So basically Delhi Sultanate means it's a combination of 5 dynasties or 5 important types of rulers. Okay, this 5 dynasty constitute the Delhi Sultanate. Why it is known as Delhi Sultanate? Because the Delhi Sultanate capital was based in Delhi. So all this administration is actually happening from Delhi. Okay, it's concentrated in Delhi. That is why it is known as Delhi Sultanate. The reign of Delhi Sultanate composed of many dynasties. Those are the 5 important dynasties that I talked about. Then the rule stretched over large parts of Indian subcontinent for 320 years. Very important. So more than 320 years the rule was there. Okay, so during this time period they have captured many parts of the Indian territory, Indian region. So it was also a kind of consolidation or a political consolidation time period. Okay, then first 3 dynasties, if you look at the first 3 dynasties, they belong to Turkish race, and the Sayyids were Arabs and Lodhis were Afghans. So what are those first 3 dynasties? We let us understand what are those 5 important dynasties included in the Delhi Sultanate. Okay, these are the 5 important dynasties, and one major ruler during that time period. One is the slave dynasty. Slave dynasty time period. That is the first dynasty which actually happened, and Qutbuddin Aibak was the founder of this particular dynasty. It actually started in 1206 to 1290. Okay, very important. And then after the slave dynasty, you can see that it is Khilji dynasty. Okay, Alauddin Khilji was one of the major rulers of this particular dynasty, and it started from 1290 BCE to 1320 CE. Then the Tughlaq dynasty, which actually starts from 1320 CE to 1414 CE. That Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the major ruler or most famous ruler during that time period. Then Zayd dynasty, which actually starts from 1414 to 1451 CE, and last one is Lodi dynasty, 1451 CE to 1526 CE. So Ghazir Khan was the major ruler in Zayd dynasty, and Bahlul Lodi was the major important ruler in the Lodi dynasty. So these are not the only rulers. Okay, there are many other rulers belong to these dynasties, because those are the time period is very large time period is there. So many rulers were there with the time period, and I'm just mentioning about 1 or 2 rulers only, because I'm just trying to give you an overview about this, just to give a summary about the Indian history. That is why we have actually shortened this particular information. So these were the first three important dynasties which actually belong to the Turkish race. Okay, so slave dynasty, Khilji dynasty, and Tughlaq dynasty. After the Delhi Sultanate, we can see that an important battle that actually happened during 1526, that is known as the Battle of Panipat. Okay, or else we can say that Battle of Panipat, which ended the Delhi Sultanate rule, which actually paved the way for another rule, another empire, that is the Mughal Empire. Okay, so basically what happened during this Battle of Panipat? Delhi was ruled by Ibrahim Lodi. He was the last ruler of the Lodi dynasty, and he was a powerful warrior. Okay, so Delhi was under the control of the Lodi dynasty, and Ibrahim Lodi was the ruler now. And Babur, on the other hand, was a descendant of both Timur and Chengiz Khan, was the ruler of Fergana, which is actually based in Uzbekistan. So Babur wanted to capture Delhi. So that is the point here. Babur wanted to capture Delhi, and who is ruling here? This Ibrahim Lodi, who is ruling here. And if Babur wants to capture, that means he has to have a conflict with the Ibrahim Lodi. He need to engage into war with the Ibrahim Lodi. So that exactly what happened. Babur wanted to capture Delhi region and the territories ruled by Ibrahim Lodi. And on 21st April 1526, this battle happened between Ibrahim Lodi and Babur. But this Panipat means a small village in Haryana. It's the present day Haryana only, the Panipat. So it's a small village in Haryana, and there only this particular battle is happening, and this time period is also very important. And in the war, in the battle, Mughal forces of Babur were victorious, or they defeated Ibrahim Lodi, and the Delhi Sultanate came to an end. Okay, so the last ruler of the Delhi Sultanate was Ibrahim Lodi, and in that battle of Panipat between Ibrahim Lodi and the Mughal forces, or the Babur's forces won the battle, and they defeated Ibrahim Lodi, and it came to an end of the Lodi dynasty, or in a larger perspective, if you look at it, ended the Delhi Sultanate, which actually led to another important empire, that is the Mughal Empire. So let us understand what are the important information regarding Mughal Empire. Mughal Empire time period is 1526 CE to 1857 CE. Very, very important. This is also a time period which actually having more than 300 years of rule. Okay, so Mughal Empire was established after the first battle of Panipat. We already discussed about it, and Babur was the founder of Mughal Empire. So the children of Babur, or the descendants of Babur, they actually ascended the throne after Babur's demise or death, and you can see that many important rulers were there in the Mughal Empire, like Akbar, Shah Jahan, Jahangir, Aurangzeb, Humayun. Many important rulers were there, and Akbar the Great was one of the most prominent ruler among the Mughal Empire rulers. And Mughal rule lasted from 1526 to 1857. So 1857 is an important time period, because that is the year in which the first war of Indian independence happened, or we can call it as the revolt of 1857 happened. They consolidated almost the entire Indian territories. Okay, so the first consolidation happened during the time of the Mauryan Empire, and then if you look at the Mughal Empire also, they were all part of, or they were all engaged in actually consolidating or conquering or acquiring more territories to their own empire. So they also were following the same pattern, and they consolidated almost the entire Indian territories. So Indo-Islamic architecture reached the zenith during this time period. If you look at the architecture at the Humayun's tomb, or the Shah Jahan's Taj Mahal, so many other constructions, architectural marvels were actually happened during this particular time period. So Indo-Islamic architecture is the feature of the Mughal Empire. The empire declined after the death of Aurangzeb in 1707. So declined means the disintegration started in 1707, and it actually completed in the year 1857. So Aurangzeb was also a great warrior and a great ruler, and after his death, the rule disintegrated and it got weakened. Okay, that is what happened. So weakened means in many other parts of the territory, there emerged different empires or different kingdoms. That is what the reason. And on the other hand, another reason was the arrival of the Europeans and their influence in the region. So these were the major rulers, okay, of the Mughal Empire, main rulers of Mughal Empire. If you look at, you can see that Babur 1526 to 1530, then Humayun from 1530 to 1540, and 1555 to then 1556. So this particular time period, okay, there is a gap you will be able to see here, and this gap was actually during the time period. It was Sher Shah Suri. He does not belong to this Mughal empire, but he was the person who is actually ruling. He defeated Humayun in a war, and he started ruling, taking the control of the Mughal empire. But after some time, Humayun came back, and he got the control. And Humayun's son Akbar, he actually ruled from 1556 to 1605. For almost 50 years he actually ruled. And then Jahangir, then Shah Jahan, and then Aurangzeb. Like we already mentioned, after the death of Aurangzeb, the demise or the disintegration of the Mughal empire started, and it ended. There was a completion happened during the time of 1857 revolt, or in the year 1857. So hope you got an idea about the Delhi Sultanate, the Battle of Panipat, and the establishment of Mughal Empire. So if you look at all these empires or kingdoms, you can see that administration is happening. Basically, our entire course, that is the Indian polity mastery, which is mainly dealing with administration, which is mainly dealing with the constitution, which is mainly dealing with the rules and regulations, okay, the governance. Because in all these historical events also, you will be able to see administrative missionaries, you will be able to see code of conduct, and everything was existing during this time period also. So we have actually taken many things, okay, we have adopted many things from historical cases or historical events, not only from India but from different parts of the world. You can see that India has adopted many things, like the French Revolution, or the American Constitution, or the British Constitution. So many contributions were there from different parts of the world, and that can be understood only if you have a clear idea regarding the history. But now we are limiting ourselves to learn about the Indian history. But when we discuss about the Indian Constitution and various features, we will also discuss about the other important aspects. So hope you got an idea. Thank you.